Afternoon. Today is Monday, June 25th, 2018. You're watching the Daily Mix TV by hillSTORY Marketing. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. Yesterday was absolutely stunning. I hope everybody had a good chance to go out and enjoy the weekend. It was a beautiful weekend to do so. It was Pride celebration all over yesterday. And judging by the photos I saw on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, it looks like there was nothing but love being expressed out on the street. On to today's news. Timing is, as they say, everything. Well, sadly, it looks like timing may be the determining factor in why spending on this coming 4th of July will be down. You see, Independence Day falls on a Wednesday this year, and that's got some people confused about what days they have off for the holiday, public celebrations, when those are being done, so on and so forth. Now, Americans are expected to spend just under $7 billion, $6.9 billion on food for 4th of July cookouts and picnics over the next 2 weeks, according to the annual survey released by the National Retail Federation and Prosper Insight and Analytics. That's down from last year's record of $7.1 billion, as fewer people say they'll turn out for the Wednesday holiday this year. But it's still the second highest amount in the history of the survey, and per person spending is actually up. According to the survey, over 216 million Americans, that's about 87%, plan to observe Independence Day, which is down slightly from last year's 219 million. Nearly 153 million people are planning a cookout or a picnic, spending an average of $75.35 per person, which is a new record topping last year's $73.42. Now, bear in mind, that only covers food and snacks, things like that. It doesn't cover holiday decor. It doesn't cover fireworks, any of those things. So your spending is up. I mean, guys, come on. We do know the truth that cost of living is up, prices are up, those kinds of things, especially this time of year. 4th of July is also, as we all know, a very popular time to travel. Now, just under 10%, 31 million people are planning to head out of town this year, and that's down from last year's 33 million. Now, 25% of folks said higher gas prices would in fact affect their plans, but the decline in travel is also related to the timing of the holiday. Over a quarter of all Americans do plan to buy more patriotic decorations for the holiday this year, according to the survey. But only 27% plan to purchase additional patriotic merchandise, but the number jumps to 44% for those ages 18 to 24 and declines steadily for older folks. You know, 4th of July is one of those very difficult holidays because it is the United States' Independence Day. It's one of those situations where, you know, you have pride in your country, you have pride in your flag. Unfortunately, given the current approval rating out of the White House, I have a feeling that's starting to affect some of these decisions. But only time will tell. We'll circle back after the numbers, the real numbers, come out after the holiday. Target's latest collaboration is both cold and sweet, which is perfect for summer, especially for those Instagrammable photos. The mass merchant with the Museum of Ice Cream has opened the Pint Shop in downtown Manhattan. Open through August, the pink accented space is part fun attraction and part retail with supermarket-style aisles. In addition to selling their newly launched line of ice cream, that's the museum's newly launched line of ice cream, the store is stocked with a limited edition of other goods, ranging from swell thermoses to notebooks embossed with cool sayings. Everything is color coordinated, as you saw in the video, to match the colors of the ice cream cartons. Now, the attractions include giant installations of ice cream pints and including one filled with plastic cherries the customers can take a dip in, which I think is kind of cool. Each pint is an Instagram-worthy moment. Now, looking at the photos of this pop-up and seeing how Target normally does these kinds of things, they got a lot of social cues that are already embedded. There's also, if you want to take part, in addition to receiving free samples, which everyone gets, visitors can actually take part in a reservation-only in-depth tasting experience where they can learn all about the making of ice cream as experienced through all the senses. It's $28 per person. My suggestion is you make your reservations early because this is going to get packed very quickly. The Pie Shop is only one part of Target's collaboration with the Museum of Ice Cream. They've also teamed up with the company on Target's new art class line of kids' apparels and accessories, and the new ice cream line will only be available at its own locations and exclusively at most Target stores. You know, programming like this can go a very long way in helping a retailer like Target. Not only does it help them to remain relevant and on trend, but it also helps them to target a new demographic or generation just coming into the spending space. I mean, you look at Generation Z and how their behaviors are starting to mirror that of Generation X and baby boomers. Certainly higher levels of spend than millennials at this point in their lives. So it's a very cool thing. It's looking at what Target's doing with the Museum of Ice Cream. I wish more retailers would take this kind of tactic. So I think that we're going to start to see a lot more of this coming out of Target since they've started to increase spending again, something they haven't done in the last several years. Today marks the 9th anniversary of the passing of who was arguably the most talented entertainer in history, Michael Jackson. Jackson, who started his career as the lead singer of the Jackson 5, turned the world upside down with the release of his second solo album, Thriller, in 1982. Featuring #1 hits like Beat It, Billie Jean, PYT, or Pretty Young Thing, and of course Thriller, the album won countless Grammy Awards and is still the world's best-selling album of all time. With the release of Thriller's 14-minute music video, which really was a film, the video for Beat It, and Billie Jean, Thriller cemented Jackson as the king of pop and the greatest entertainer of a generation, if not of all time. Jackson was 50 years old when he died. You know, you guys have heard me talk about Michael before. I just still can't believe he's gone. In closing, today's a complicated day for me. I grew up watching Michael Jackson set the worlds of music and entertainment on fire. I even got to meet him a couple of times. There will never be, in my humble opinion, another entertainer that can do what Michael did. So today is a little sad for me in that way. But there is a silver lining in every dark cloud. Today is also one of the greatest days in my life. 4 p.m. this afternoon marks the 16th anniversary of the day I made the smartest decision of my life. I asked Kylie to marry me. I love you, Kylie. I've missed you these past couple of weeks while you've been visiting your family in Australia, and I'm so happy you're having such a great time. I can't wait until you get home so we can celebrate. I love you, and I miss you. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO of hillSTORY Marketing. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. Have a great Monday, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.